A pregnant virgin? That's every man's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's interesting. He kind of, he's kind of saying, I don't believe her, which in the real story would have been one of the challenges that we would have missed, that in that culture, she would have been maybe stoned to death because she's lying and she's gone around and slept with people before she's married in this uber conservative Jewish culture. Hey guys, hope you're having a good day. Pastor Mark here for Pastor Mark Reacts with a Christmas special. We're going to be talking about all things Christmas. Hope you enjoy it, like it, share it, subscribe to it. Let's go.
Where's Reverend Lovejoy? He's never been late for Christmas service.
Maybe he's cheating on us with the Episcopalians. Look at them, with their bright, airy narthex and light, flaky Eucharist. I wouldn't mind dipping my hand in their font.
Christ is born, who's on my horn?
Bad news, Ned. There's been a horrible train wreck. So many little plastic Christmases ruined.
You want me to deliver the Christmas sermon? Oh, I feel like I'm born again. Don't be nervous, Ned. You practiced this so many times in the shower. Paper cut.
It's interesting. There was actually a book written years ago called The Gospel According to the Simpsons, and one of the ideas was that Ned Flanders was one of the only Christians that the populace ever wasn't really exposed to in their day-to-day life, and so they would kind of get their theology from him. And so already his theology is good. I'm born again. That's the main thing. Now I feel like I'm being born again. That's
You
awesome.
want to order a hero? Okay, Christmas. You know how your paper boy always sends you a Christmas card with his home address on it? What's up with that?
I wanted you to tip me.
No tip till they bring back Hagar the Horrible.
That's not my decision.
Oh, it's never anybody's decision. Anywho, I'd like to tell you all a little story I call The First Christmas. I, for one, am dying to hear it. A carpenter named Joseph was about to get some frankly preposterous news.
Joseph, you know I have never lain with a man.
Tell me about it.
And yet, I am with child.
A pregnant virgin? That's every man's worst nightmare.
Hail Mary, full of grace.
That's not all she's full of.
Quiet, you. Mary, you carry in your womb the Son of God, who will grow up to become King of the Jews.
Yeah, it's interesting. He kind of, he's kind of saying, I don't believe her, which in the real story would have been one of the challenges that we would have missed, that in that culture, she would have been maybe stoned to death because she's lying and she's gone around and slept with people before she's married in this uber conservative Jewish culture. And then of course we think Joseph would have just kind of gone along with it and been like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, the Holy Spirit made you pregnant, sure, let's just go hang out and go to the mall. And it's like, yeah, she's full of it. Like there's a piece of this story that I knew I wasn't really a part of it. It's what Lewis called chronological snobbery, when we look back on people and we think, well, they were just unscientific. They would have never known anything and they just believed anything about myths and gods or whatever. It's like, no, this actually would have bothered them. They were smart people and this was a miracle, just like it was a miracle to them just like it is to us, and it would have been very difficult for them to actually follow it and be like, I'm gonna be obedient to God in the midst of, I don't know if this lady's lying to me. I don't know what, I'm 14, 15 years old and I don't know what my future is gonna look like, which would have been Mary's situation. So.
King Herod, we three wise men come bearing gifts for the King of the Jews. We bring gold, frankincense,
And myrrh, which I am regifting, 'cause who needs myrrh? Here's the tag.
Thank you.
So yeah, obviously, we know now that like this concept of these three guys, these wise men who show up bringing gifts the day of Jesus' birth, is kind of a construct that we've done from the Matthew narrative, and it doesn't say there was three, and they weren't really wise men. They were like Babylonian wizards. That's what a magi was, and they focus on the stars and whatever, and it doesn't say there was 3. It just says that they brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And so we, in all of our creativity, go, oh, they must have each been holding one. There could have been 2 of them. There could have been 68 of them. We have no idea how many of these guys actually came. And we know from Matthew it was probably 2 years later. And so, not to blow up everyone's Christmas, but, probably 3 guys didn't show up with. And it's interesting. I was talking to my wife about this the other day because they have those like little incense thing, what are those called? Like the sage or the whatever. And she was talking about myrrh and frankincense, and this stuff's like actually legit, like expensive stuff. So it's interesting. I was like, oh yeah, that's, they're bringing very expensive stuff that's hard to get, and bringing it to this guy because they want to honor him. So.
This is awkward. The king of the Jews we seek is a newborn child.
Find this pretender
Herod
to
would've been
my
mad about
throne and bring him to me.
That's why
Now
he
you wouldn't
does the
hurt the
killing of
little
the
boy,
innocents.
Chick.
Of course not. Kings don't hurt babies. Giant pointy swords hurt babies.
Well, I'm good, King Herod, except you don't really have the good, so what do you have, really, then?
Nah, don't you worry. I got plenty of rooms at my inn, all with brand new carpeting.
I think my water just broke.
You can have the barn. Now feel free to come by the main house for breakfast. There won't be any.
They talk about like historically there was probably a northern star like that because like what was it, like Saturn and Venus or something go close together, and they were talking about how it's like probably in about 7 BC that actually happened according to astronomy or whatever. So it could be a thing that's when he was born.
Just keep pushing, sweetie. The doctor will be here any second.
Shalom, everybody. I've got some very good news. Caesar
animals.
just invented the cesarean.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, actually, when you read the Luke story, it was actually, they talk about how in that Middle Eastern culture, there's a guy named Kenneth Bailey. He did a lot of work on this, and he talked about in that culture, they never would have just taken 2 kids and abandoned them out. Kind of our classic story. Yes, she put him in a trough, a kid's trough, and all that. But it was probably a basement of a house in some way, because that's where they would keep animals. Was they would have a house, and then they'd have a section in the house that was almost like a living room where they would keep the animals warm at night or whatever. It was almost part of their house. And so when it says that they kept them, in this spot with the animals around or whatever, that it was probably more so like that they wouldn't have just been like, as a culture, like kick 2 teenagers to the curb and hope they could survive out there, So some of these Christmas images that we, get are historically, would have been a different picture.
I've got the Messiah's nose. I've got the Messiah's nose.
Give it back, he'll kill us all.
He looks just like his dad. Not you.
Oh, I'm not the father. I'm not a wise man. I'm nothing. This is the worst Christmas ever. Maybe a little toot off the old wineskin will cheer me up.
Genie
My wine turned into
That's how she
water.
used to do
Who could have
magic.
performed such a cruel miracle?
Those kids out there, you might not have known
You
that,
little-
kids.
Joseph, no! He has to stay alive till
favorite
he's
show is
33 when he'll be renounced by his friends and crucified. Sorry, kid.
Joseph must have felt left out. Not mentioned very much.
Anytime anyone suffers in the world, he starts crying again. Can you do something?
Me? But I'm watching the Orange Bowl.
Now.
Oh! You like physical comedy, eh? Wise man, eh? Pick 2.
These stooges.
I oughta.
And all those kids out there, you might not know that.
Now hold still.
Of course, all the no crying he made, all that isn't true. He was fully God and fully human at the same time, so there would have been a lot of crying.
I think this non-traditional household just might make it.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, we got a great family. Now let's get some sleep.
Herod is coming for the child. Manger danger! Manger danger!
So historically, it probably would have been 2 by the time this happened, because the Matthew narrative has Herod, the slaughtering of the innocents, but it's probably when Jesus is 2, because they come and find him as a child at the house. It's the Luke narrative where he's actually born. Yeah, okay, so he's 2 years old. Herod comes looking. Funny how history repeats itself, because of course the Exodus story, Pharaoh doing the same thing after Moses. There was a king of the Jews in the sense of the Hebrew people, and Pharaoh didn't like that, so he kills a whole bunch of kids. And now this is Matthew's narrative playing off that as if Jesus is the new Moses, and there's a whole bunch of kids being slaughtered in the same way. Because Herod's, of course, jealous of this true king. Herod's the king, but now there's this true king that's going to overthrow him, and so he's got to get rid of him.
Gee, Chief, I feel pretty bad trying to take out a baby.
Don't worry, boys. No one will ever speak or write of this again.
What a buff I'll be getting for my book!
There they are. I see his head daily.
Follow that glow. They put his halo on a duck. The oldest trick in the book. What the hell are you doing?
Well, he does have a halo. Hail, Quacky.
That ought to spruce things up.
The origin of the Christmas tree, which actually has its own interesting story
What a
in regard to
beautiful
paganism.
Hanukkah bush.
I say we call it a Christmas tree.
Oh, a Christmas tree. What a great name. Makes you feel all warm and fuzzy.
And did you know that little baby Jesus grew up to be Jesus? Oh. I know, it's weird, isn't it?
And of course, you have all these people in the pews that are, in their tradition of going there every Christmas Eve to hear this sermon, which oftentimes people do. And, I always like to challenge them. Either this is a true story and it's the greatest story, that's ever been told and it should change your life, or it's a myth and it's a lie and you should, be protesting against it. The one thing it can't be is some kind of mediocre, nice reason for the season and then you leave it behind. So the challenge of Christmas is, are you willing to let God interrupt your life and take the scandalous invitation or not? And if not, you got to be able to say, okay, well, this was all a lie, because if it's true in any way, you should probably rearrange your life around it. So that's Christmas. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you got to the end of this video, awesome. Make sure you share it with a friend and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hope you have a great Christmas.
Thank you.